Hi guys, Hidrugon here, back here with another video, and in today's video I want to talk about Shizuku. More specifically, I want to talk about her death and why I believe that it's fourth prince Tserriednich that will kill her. As we see for the fortunes of the Phantom Troop, they've all been coming true one by one. In fact, the only fortune which hasn't come true in regards to their deaths is that of Shizuku. Now if we look at Shizuku's fortune, it says that she's to find an ally, and then afterwards she needs to accompany that ally, and she'll be left in a room all alone filled with treasures, and she will feel absolute solitude, and she'll be more scared than she's ever been scared, and then it talks about her dying. So there's two questions for me there to make my theory come true. Who would this ally be, and what is this room of treasures? Well, I believe the ally to be Chrollo. Because right now, Shizuku is in the disguise. And of course, we know that Chrollo is trying to get up to the tiers above to find Hisoka. Now, Shizuku in the disguise will make it easier for her to go up with Chrollo. And also, Shizuku's ability makes it easy because Chrollo can kill people and she can get rid of the evidence. As we saw, that was the big flaw with Borevelov. So I think that she's a very likely person to accompany Chrollo up. So I believe that this is saying that when she's with Chrollo, everything's going to go well. And the question then becomes, why would she leave Chrollo? What could have happened to leave Chrollo? I think it's pretty simple, right? I think it's either Hisoka or it's either members of the royal family. But it's something that needs Chrollo to get separated from her. Which would make a lot of sense, right? Because there's a lot of powerful players up in the upper tiers. And Shizuku is in a disguise. But then afterwards, for me, the treasures, right? We know that Chrollo is after the 3 treasures of Kakin, especially, to get his skill hunter booklet leveled up. So that would definitely be a target for the Phantom Troop, especially if Shizuku's with them, especially considering her ability, because she can just suck them in and just absorb it to take it with them. And then also the Quarter Eyes, right? Lots of the other fortunes talk about the Phantom Troop members meeting their demise in front of the Quarter Eyes. And the thing is, right, lots of those things, right, you just assume Quarter Eyes is Kurapika. But in fact, the person that has the most Quarter Eyes is Tserriednich. So I believe that the Quarter Eyes of Tserriednich could also be seen as merchandise. Maybe she's there trying to take them to, of course, resell them like they did with all the other Quarter Eyes they got when they killed the Quarter clan. So I believe that what will happen is that she will be either in the room with the merchandise, or she will be in the room where, of course, Tserriednich keeps all his stuff. As we saw with that manga panel of him in the room, he had a lot of other things there. So there's a possibility the two of them could be kept together, but even if they're separate, I think one of these two locations has to be where Shizuku goes to. And then afterwards, the fear comes from, of course, Tserriednich's just raw, intimidating aura and his 2 Nen beasts. Each time we see his Nen beast, we see that people are so scared. We saw Theta almost have a mental breakdown in response to it. This pure maliciousness, this inhuman entity which he's able to summon through his Nen. So I really believe that this is how Shizuku will die. Because it talks about her fear, right? It really emphasizes her fear. Like, first of all, the part that everyone latches onto in the community, and I see a lot on Reddit, is about the treasures. People think, could this be the Kakin treasures? But the thing is, right, with the Kakin treasures, it doesn't describe this fear. Because it says she would have never been as scared as she is then. And there's no one else, to me, in Hunter x Hunter, just in general, right, that's as scary as Tserriednich. So I believe it has to be him, through the raw, just the lengths it goes to really describe this overwhelming fear she has before, of course, it talks about her demise. So I think that Tserriednich will kill her and he'll ravage her body, just like in a sense of, like trying to, you know how he does it, right? We've seen Tserriednich before. We've saw that panel of him in front of the window where he's just looking at the world. It almost feels like he's judging the world. And he's talking about how he brings women in. He loves bringing women in. He does things. He has sex with them, blah, blah, blah. He talks to them about things and he just kills them and he tears their bodies apart. He really makes them, he just kills them like they're insects. And I believe that he will take an interest in Shizuku at first. And actually, that could be the ally, but no, I don't think so. I mean, I'm having an alter possibility whilst explaining this, but, you know, I think that that's the change in temperaments from Tserriednich when he reveals how intimidating he was, like with all those women beforehand. He has a pattern of doing this to young women, and Shizuku, she fits the criteria, to be honest. I'm sure even in her costume, she's most likely a woman. Just because we saw Benevolov for practicality, it's easier to be something that's closer towards you because you can maintain it for longer. And I think that the scary thing about this is that Tserriednich is going to put himself as a, of course, a target of the Phantom Troop, right? Because you can't kill one of their members and not be a target. That's why they're trying to kill Hisoka, and they're still after the Chain User and Kurapika. Another thing this could do is this could put Tserriednich on Hisoka's radar. Now, this is because Hisoka, he's been adamant on wanting to kill all the Phantom Troop members himself. So if he feels that Tserriednich has taken that away from him, he might want to then kill Tserriednich by extent, because then he kind of fulfills this, I killed the person that killed that member. So I think that is very intriguing. I think it's also intriguing to see how, I suppose, Kurapika would react. I still think it's very unlikely for a truce to happen between Kurapika and the Phantom Troop. I think that would be a very, very tricky situation. But if there's anything that could create a truce between those two teams, it would be the death of a spider to Tserriednich, who's, of course, Kurapika's target. They could mutually come to an agreement where Kurapika gets his eyes back and they get to kill Tserriednich. And, I've talked to a lot of people about this theory in particular, and I've always been very critical of it. But now that I'm really visualizing how this theory of Shizuku dying, I can see it very, very possibly coming to fruition. It's a very realistic thought. It really is. There's nothing too extravagant about it. So what would Shizuku's, of course, death mean to the story? Well, Shizuku, she's been a character that's not the main Phantom Troop member, but she's been quite an integral Phantom Troop member over the years. We saw her first in Yorknew. She's had quite the personality. She's become a bit of a fan favorite, so I believe she'll be utilized to start off the ending of the succession contest talk once this does happen. As we saw, the pacing in the last 3 chapters has skyrocketed. Everything's advanced far quicker. In fact, there's a period in the succession contest where it felt a bit slow, right? And everything started happening. It's been happening really fast these last 30 chapters or so. And I think that this is going to be the boost that the succession contest needs to have stakes. If we feel like the fact that all the characters could be dying, of course we've got Morena in the background, who I talked about in last video, and how she's building this empire of essentially this pyramid scheme of death. So with Tserriednich, who's now just focusing completely on his training, we don't know how strong he's getting. It's already established that he's a natural, the greatest natural we've seen since Meruem. And I think that this ability he has to just completely vanish in Zetsu, it would really show to how he's so scary to Shizuku. If he can put himself in Zetsu and just have the Nen Beast there, or her not knowing where he is, like talking about this dark room. I don't know if this would be a Nen ability that maybe creates the room dark, or if it's really just dark. But I really want to see this scene because I think that the way it's been explained in the Fortune will make this quite the dramatic scene. I thought that was a bit of a problem we had in this scene, of course, with Shalnok and Kortopi's deaths, is that as it was very, of course, dark and it was, very brutal, we didn't really get to see the brutality of it. We weren't in the toilet with Kortopi as Hisoka was just there, probably grinning, waiting for him. And I think this is the moment to really have a scene that we can latch onto, right? We had that scene in the Cameran talk, the scene which really changes everything, where Kite, right? Pitou goes and takes Kite's arm away. We saw that in Greed Island with the bomber blowing up everyone. So this theme and feature has been done before. We saw that at the auction. I can go through all the arcs. Hisoka against Castro, Hisoka's bloodlust in the Hunter exam, of course. We saw Killua getting whipped in the Zodiac family to set the mood. I think this would be a very, very complimentary scene. And I hope we do see it, as much as I do hate to see it because I love Shizuku. But yeah, I think that this is what happens to her. And I think that if done well, it could be one of the best moments in the series. So I'm very much in anticipation. So if you liked today's video, please feel free to let me know down below if you've got a suggestion for another comments for a video. I'm doing a Lumi versus Crollo video because that got suggested. Also, if you like Hunter x Hunter, I do these Hunter x Hunter videos every single day. You know, I love this series, so if you want to be part of the ride, please consider subscribing. And I hope you've all had an incredible day. This was Tserriednich. Peace out.
羽ばたいたら戻らないと言って目指した